All the good names are taken. He's Blake. I'm Ronnie. And for the first time ever, Blake, we are live.
What's going on, man? How nervous are you?
I'm like really nervous because first off.
You ready? Are you ready?
Usually I'll be ready.
I'm always ready.
Don't be nervous. I got Kurt watching over us tonight, baby. We're going to be just fine.
I cough a lot. Like when we're doing the podcast, you are always like mad because I'll have to hit the mute button so I can cough because I get this like little nervous thing where like phlegm fills up my throat and I'll have to cough like I'm a smoker or something. So yeah, I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm not nervous about that. I'm nervous about like the technology crashing on us in the middle of this. And if that's the case,
who cares?
We're going to hit the kill it button and we're going to go to bed. Okay.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, we had to try out the live stream just to see how it goes.
Right. And we're going to be on our best behavior, right?
Absolutely. Clean show. I'm looking at you as you're smiling. Clean show. If you go to acting crazy, I'm hitting the kill it button. I'm cutting out. First thing I'm noticing right here is this is the best you've ever looked.
Thank you. Diet's going great.
As far as your setup.
Oh.
You're still got the gaming headset for some reason. I don't understand that.
It's all we got. My boys, I have 4 or 5 gaming headsets, so why go buy another one that, if this works just as good.
But the background,
I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not putting any money or effort into this show. So you can forget it, Vic.
It costs like $1 to get like headset. I mean, some earbuds to put in.
Okay.
But no, I'm digging the background, the TV in the background, Kurt Russell in the background. You got the light up there like all these YouTubers have. So
I will say this. Kurt Russell was put there by me. Everything else is a 12-year-old's bedroom. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. There was no effort.
But I like the way your headsets look better than mine. I got these.
You got something going on with. I mean, what is that? It looks like that headset looks like it would go on top of the alien from Mars Attacks.
Well, I do have a giant head, but I Googled.
Look at the space. Look at the space between there. The air gap.
What kills me is like this thing right here is crooked. So that's all I can stare at myself is like, how do I get that right? And it's not
I don't
working.
think you can get it right.
These are the best. These are what Joe Rogan wear.
Yeah, well,
So we're
Yeah,
straight to the
you
top.
kind of got a Joe Rogan thing going on.
That's right. Bald-headed, ugly,
Successful.
super successful.
Right.
There you go.
Spotify wants us.
We're on Spotify. Or, well, the audio podcast was on Spotify. The show now is just here. Like, we've totally abandoned the audio portion that we've been doing for 7 years. So I eventually had to change my setup here because everybody's got the cool background. And before you could just see a wall that was like 10 feet behind. And now I've got this. I've actually got this thing in the corner, this sign that my wife got me like last Christmas that I can finally put together.
She got you that We Miss Blake for Christmas? That's sweet.
Fun fact is she actually wrote the We Miss Blake. That's when you took a break from the show for like 5 months and Tim entered the equation, and we haven't been able to get rid of him since. So we discussed this beforehand. Did we want to talk about the Scream trailer? So I know you said you didn't want to talk about the Scream trailer, but
right. Thanks for bringing it up.
I want to talk about it for like 30 seconds. Okay. With 30, 45 seconds max. Did you watch the Scream trailer?
Yes.
Okay. So what did you think of like the 35-second, 40-second teaser? Your opinion. I don't need you to like regurgitate what all the people that have broke down every frame of the teaser trailer are telling people. And at the same time, they're going, hey, no spoilers. But let's talk about that for a second. Okay. Like, we're like mixed genre on this channel. Okay. We review movies, we review movies of all genres. All right. And never once have we got on here and like preached to anybody about spoilers. The whole time we came through with Halloween Kills, we never said, hey man, no spoilers or nothing like that. Have you noticed that the people that preach, hey, no spoilers on this channel are the ones breaking it down frame by frame by frame to tell you every little thing to ruin the movie before it even comes out?
So can you be specific on which person you're aggravated with that's doing this?
All of them. All of them. Like I checked in on our friend. I'm not aggravated at this guy, but I checked in on our friend Zach Cherry the other night, who went live for the first time because I wanted to see if he could do it. And he got to talking, and he's like a big no spoilers guy. I don't want any kind of spoilers.
He's also a big no trailer reaction guy. And then he posts a trailer reaction.
Y'all check it in our archives. Zach Cherry said trailer reactions are the most overplayed genre of YouTube, and there he is doing it. But he's not dumb, though. He knows super chats are out there. He's a big no spoiler guy. So like 200 or 300 people filled into his chat to watch him, and they're all saying the same thing they've seen off every channel. Hey, did you notice this? Did you notice that? This person's there. This person's there. This person's there. And he's like, hey, y'all got like a great eye. And I'm like, dude, they don't have a great eye. They've seen 500 videos today of the same people saying the same crap. It's not enough to watch the fact that it's a pretty cool teaser where they're on a subway and it's during Halloween and there's multiple Ghostface costumes and apparently one of them's after them. I mean, I know, big shock, big plot twist, but we have to break it down and say that, oh, there's the Pinhead from Hellraiser.
You're past the 30 seconds you wanted to talk about it.
All right, so that's it.
No, listen, I thought it was a good teaser. You know, I thought Ghostface looked cool on the subway. I think I'm gonna like the New York aspect of it. Just like when I was a kid, I loved Jason Takes Manhattan, even though it's probably a terrible movie. But when it showed the starring characters, I said, wait a minute, who are they? Oh yeah, they're from Scream 5. Oh yeah, I don't care about any of them. So I did get that from, the 30-second teaser.
Are you one of these people that are pro Stu being alive or anti Stu being alive?
Here's my take on Stu, on that whole thing. I think that's an overrated character from the first one. I do. I think he was strictly comic relief in that movie. And I don't know why he's hyped up so much. I guess because he's one of the original killers, but I don't know why you would want to bring him back. I don't know how you could bring him back that would make sense. And
well, he's got all those one-liners that are the most memorable lines of the movie besides Randy. You know, my mom and dad's going to be so mad at me, peer pressure, things like that. So
Yeah.
that, I mean, the big psycho / comedy character in the movie.
Yeah.
So I'm like you.
Overrated.
The dude got a 500-pound TV dropped on his head. He's dead. Nobody mentioned him being alive in part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and all of a sudden he's going to show up alive. And this, I guess, it's a movie. They can do whatever they want to do. I mean, obviously, but why not just leave that guy
They brought
dead?
Billy back.
They did bring Billy back, which is a whole new, like, you could discuss that at will about him being like the smiling hero guy at the end of the last one, where he's like just nodding his head in approval that his daughter like survived it. I mean, it's ridiculous. The trailer was pretty good. I'll watch the movie because I've seen every other Scream, but I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's Scream. So, what before anything else before we get into Silent Night, Deadly Night?
I mean, not really. Hey, talking about Scream and the phone calls and stuff, do you think that operators are still a thing? Like, in every movie we saw when we were a kid, it was operator, give me the police. Do you think there's still operators out there?
Well, you got to think that's a job that really took a hit
Yeah. I mean,
with modern technology. They used to be there to like unplug one thing and plug it into the other in the old Andy Griffith show. There's still got to be somebody there to work the board to make sure it don't just crash. And they
have
can
you ever
do it.
met an operator?
No.
Has
No.
anybody ever met an operator?
I'm sure somebody has.
It just seems like just a wild job to have.
Seems like the easiest job. Can you imagine being like a 911 operator and they got to call you and it's the people that's mad they only got 5 nuggets at McDonald's instead of 6?
Oh, so you're talking about like a dispatch. I'm talking about just
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about
the general operator who's got to connect you to any. Operator, give me the Pentagon.
No, I've never met one. Don't know anything about one. Here we go. Let's get into it. Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984. I practically had to beg you to watch this movie. You have to be drugged across the finish line, kicking and screaming. Whenever I first introduced this movie and said, hey, let's review this movie for December, what went through your mind before you actually watched it?
I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to hand it off to Boz. I refuse to watch this probably terrible movie during Christmas season. And I will be the first to admit, Ronnie, you were right. I made a mistake. This is a fun movie.
Yes, it's absolutely fun. It's this multi-layered, and I'm going to say that for a movie that has terrible dialogue and 80s gore and 80s sexual assault. It's multi-layered in the fact that there's certain parts that are funny that aren't supposed to be funny, and there's drama in there in places I don't think there's meant to be drama. So the movie focuses on Billy, who is traumatized on Christmas Eve and then goes nuts and prances around the town, killing people with an axe. So this is one of those movies. I know we usually jump around, and I hope you've got notes because I want to start at the beginning.
Sure.
And I want to go almost scene by scene and do some discussion because I think there's a whole villain in this movie that's way bigger than Billy.
Oh, I mean, let's go ahead and say it. You're talking about Mother Superior.
Mother Superior is the biggest villain in this movie, without a doubt. It's supposed to be the Dr. Loomis type character, but they failed miserably. Billy
is she supposed to be the Loomis character, or is Sister Margaret supposed to be the Loomis character?
I think they split it off. Loomis 1 and Loomis 2. You got the kind Sister Margaret. I didn't even know her name. And you've got Mother Superior.
Her real name is Gilmer.
Which one?
Sister Margaret. Gilmer
Godfrey.
No. I mean, her parents they had 9 months and we give up. Gilmer.
You couldn't, I mean, who's going to use their fake name as Gilmer? That is a horrible name.
Yeah.
What's the worst name in history?
Probably Adolf.
There you go. I like it. Yeah, I don't think nobody can name their kid Adolf anymore. You're right. There you go.
Yeah.
This movie starts off with a creepy, and we'll come back to the Mother Superior. This movie starts off with a creepy beginning.
Yeah. Hey, let's just talk about. Did you watch the original trailer for this?
No, I didn't.
They do have the trailer's really good. It's straight 80s slasher trailer. You
They give away all
survived
the
how?
murders?
Yeah, they do. They do. They give away every murder in the trailer. But the tagline is "You survived Halloween. Now try to get through Christmas." I love it. I love it. And I'm sure you're going to get into all the politicking and the all the riots this movie caused.
Well, I don't know if it caused riots, but this movie was pulled after 1 week. It went into the theaters, and 1 week later, because of outrage, they pulled it out because somebody dressed as Santa was killing people in it.
Well, they was airing commercials like in between Three's Company and they was airing this Santa killing people. But
Naughty.
Can you imagine if TriStar didn't pull this out of theaters after all this, how much money it would have made, all the curiosity of people wanting to go see it? I mean, I know you probably read it was on pace to make $20 million. It outperformed Nightmare on Elm Street the first week, but I think it would have made way more than 20 million with all the hype, just because of the hype.
Why did they pull it? It was 1984. Nobody cared about anything.
Oh man, it was just a witch hunt. Like, and even Siskel and Ebert's, they did a hit piece on it on their show, and they're such goons, man. I'm trying to keep it as clean as I can, but
well,
screw them.
They also hammered every horror movie that came out during the 80s that turned out to be timeless classics. And then they got to come back 20 years later before they die and say, oh, I was wrong about this movie. Look, I'm going to say this, and then we'll get to the movie. Anybody that worries about, well, the critics said this, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 90. Who cares what Rotten Tomatoes gives it? Go watch it. If you like it, that's great. If nobody else likes it, you can still like it. If everybody else likes it, you can still hate it. It's called being an individual. So the movie starts off with a family on Christmas Eve going to the Utah Mental Hospital. So I've got a lot of theories about this. They're going to visit the dad's father, which is the kid's grandpa, Billy's grandpa. And he is like comatose. So I guess as a kid, I was thinking, this guy's like had a stroke or something like this. Cause like I told you before, I'm the worst movie watcher ever. So I didn't see Utah Mental Health Hospital. This dude's insane. Why is he in the mental health hospital? That's my question, Blake. Why is he there? And why is he comatose? Well, not comatose, but just, what's it called? Like invalid or whatever.
I don't know. We never find out. I mean, Billy, being 4 years old, has a great point. If Grandpa is not going to remember us visiting, why are we wasting time visiting? So,
what?
What are you talking about?
Say that again.
Billy has a great point. He says to his parents, if Grandpa's not going to remember us visiting, why are we bothering visiting him?
That's a great point.
And I'm like, Billy, it's a great point. Let's turn this car around. But he gets in there. First off, it's played by Old Man Peabody from Back to the Future.
My Pines!
There you go. As soon as the parents decide to leave Billy in the room with him, which is a great decision, great parenting decision, Grandpa wakes up and focuses his attention on his grandson, who he's never met, you would assume, right?
No.
This is the part where I have a lot of questions for you. He starts talking about Santa Claus. And Billy, of course, is young and innocent. He brings you presents. And he's like, is that what your daddy told you? Santa Claus only brings presents to those good. If you're bad, if you've been naughty, he's going to be real bad to you. If you see Santa Claus, run. So, Ronnie, Can this guy see in the future?
Absolutely not. Like, here's a better question. The grandpa
Because
is
later that night, Santa Claus plays a huge part in all their lives, and he runs as soon as he sees him.
Mhm.
So was Grandpa somehow
a wizard.
a wizard?
No, I don't think it's that. I think they were just setting the stage. Here's a better question, a more thought-provoking question. Other than the fact that I want to know what made him so crazy that he just sits there. Is he just sitting there when the family shows up and pretending he can't talk or do anything? And then he's like just crazy the rest of the time? Or is he always just sitting there staring? Next question. Did he actually ever say anything? Because mental health problems runs in the family. The grandfather's crazy. Did Billy imagine the grandfather saying that? Like he never really just said anything. And then it's the beginning of Billy's mental break. And it just so happens that night their family's attacked by Santa and he runs off.
Nah, I think Grandpa really spoke to him. What a, it's funny, Ronnie. It's funny how, and I know this is obvious, but it's funny how one thing can just completely change the direction of a person's life. It looks like this is a happy family. Mom, dad, son, another baby in the car. And they're getting the mom is so excited about opening presents that night or in the morning or whenever they do it. And he's kind of scared of Santa Claus, which most kids are. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
you see it all the time. Kids crying in Santa's lap. So he's scared. Then his grandpa, who is family, tells him this. Well, now they're coming up on a broke down. Well, I guess we need to talk about what Santa Claus does first before he breaks down.
Let's talk about this guy. So this guy in a Santa outfit goes into a curb store.
Whoa. Are you so?
It's not the real Santa.
You don't think this is the real Santa?
No, it's definitely not the real Santa.
Okay.
Santa would drive something better. So he goes into the curb store. I got questions about this guy too. He goes into the curb store and the guy behind the counter is like, he's sick of Christmas already. And like, as he looks down, he raises back up and this Santa's got a gun in his face and he's finna rob the place. And then the guy reaches for a gun and he shoots him. So my question to you, first question, would this Santa Claus have killed the guy behind the counter if he would have just handed him the money?
Yes.
You're going with that?
Yep.
Because part of me thinks if he would have just robbed him, then would he have killed the family when they come up in the road? Like he's on a crime spree at this point. This dude's like a serial killer because he kills the guy in the curb store and then he pretends that his car is broke down so that people will stop and then he can rob them.
Is he pretending or is he really broke down?
I'm assuming, great question. I'm assuming he's pretending because Ricky was car seated in, right? Into that car, or does Billy get him out?
No, he was car seated in.
Yeah.
And
so if his car was really broke down, he would have took that car and kidnapped Ricky.
Right.
Baby Ricky.
So he gets away too. It's what's great.
Oh, you gotta love it.
But let me ask you something about the cashier that gets killed. Is that the same guy that makes fun of Al and Die Hard? Baggett.
No, it's not the same guy. Wow, I mean that's a good question, but no, that's not the same guy.
They look similar.
They do look similar, but I think the guy in Die Hard's a little bit older.
I got you.
So
well, it'd be 5 years older, right?
It's true. No, 3 years older. Die Hard's 87. So this was 84.
I don't think Die Hard's 87.
Die Hard's definitely 87.
Okay.
Anyway, this is the type of stuff that I really don't like, and I know you're uncomfortable with. The Santa Claus lures them. First thing you do, if somebody's in the middle of the road early in the morning, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and they're in a Santa suit, you never stop. You never.
Billy, you want to see Santa? Looks like you're going to see him. He's in the middle of the road.
That is the look at Nick. That is rule number 1 of the road. You do not stop for anybody that is dressed like Santa at 2 a.m. in the morning. And then the fact that he tries to back up when the guy pulls the gun on him instead of just punching it forward is crazy.
Yeah.
Tons of rookie mistakes here. The dad gets killed immediately. The mom gets brutalized in the road and her throat slit. Billy runs off and hides in the cupboard. And boom, fast forward 5 years. And these two, Billy and Ricky, have been put into the Utah orphanage. That's all.
Yeah, which I thought was weird when they could have left him with the grandpa.
I just caught what you said. I'm reading these Nick Push messages down here at the bottom. Which member of ATG and AT not on camera tonight is most likely to have a similar mental break? This is a great question. Which member of ATG and AT, besides me and you, would have this kind of mental breakdown on Christmas?
Tim.
Absolutely. Tim, as he's sitting there alone on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, drinking Fireball, would no doubt put a pair of underwear on his head and go out into the public and try to kill everybody.
Yeah.
So,
the answer's Tim, Nick.
I would agree 100%. There you go. This orphanage is where we get into where the real villains of this movie are. Mother Superior is the biggest villain in this movie. I know this because she takes over from Sister Margaret. She goes, okay, what you've been trying to do with Billy is not working. He's mine now. I'm the new coach. And her way to get him closer to Jesus is by beating him with a belt. Everything he does, beating with a belt.
Well, yeah, it starts off with him. You know, the kids are drawing pictures of Christmas and stuff like that. And he draws like reindeers with their heads cut off. And
is it reindeers?
I think so. Yeah. Rain die. I'm sorry. Yeah, he draws a couple of pictures of Rain Die getting their head cut off by Santa. Santa's holding a knife, which is what his memory is. Santa holding a knife, cutting his mom's throat, shooting his dad in the head. And like you said, they completely ignore the kid's trauma. Completely ignore it. Like he wants to
sit with Santa.
Yeah, he wants nothing to do with Christmas. Can we talk about Billy's right hook on that Santa too?
Dude, that was one of my notes. He decks the Santa.
He dropped him. He decked his halls, Bob.
Mother Superior thinks that she's got this cure of making him not crazy, which is beat him. And it's also, I guess, to make him face his fear. And they put him in that Santa's lap knowing that a guy dressed as Santa Claus murdered his parents. These are the most evil people in this movie. And then later on,
it's just her. It's just her. Sister Margaret is saying, you know what he's been through. We can't keep making him do this. He's fine all year until we get to Christmas time, is what she says.
Also, she doesn't like him sneaking a peek in the keyhole at people getting after it. I mean, what kind of like orphanage is it? Those people were 25 years old.
Sign me up, baby. I got a lot of questions. So when that scene first happened, Billy peeks through the keyhole, which, by the way, awesome keyhole, awesome keyhole scene, by the way. But I thought it was nuns at first.
I did too.
I thought it was people who work there hunching at first.
Father and a nun.
And then when I realized it wasn't, my next question is, Ronnie, how old can you be in an orphanage?
That's a good question.
Because it has to be under 18, right?
You would think so, but if you watch the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix, and I know you did, that dude was 60.
So we are watching two people under 18 in this movie get after it. Wild. Anyway, Sister Mother Teresa, what's her name? Mother Superior walks up.
Mother Teresa goes in there and instead of
throws Billy against the wall. What are you doing? And she goes in there and she starts smacking him around. All you hear is a belt whip, and you're, oh yeah.
That's her. I guess that's Mother Teresa's cure for everything is just acting up, beat him with a belt. Infidelity, beat him with a belt. Parents got killed, beat him with a belt.
So Billy's outside trying to forget about, the live sex scene he just watched, playing with his friends. By the way, his little brother's like, my brother's not a psycho, which I've said before. Mother Superior comes outside and takes him back upstairs to beat him. It is unbelievable.
She does like the Animal House too. Like she puts him over the bed and just goes to town. She should have done like the one arm up method. That's what our parents used to do to us. They pull one arm up.
Yeah. He's having dreams of his parents getting killed. He's reliving that nightmare in his head. So their solution is to tie him to the bed, to where he. And by the way, this kid is the best actor in the movie?
Yes.
This version of Billy, I think so too. Like, you feel so sorry for this kid, man. Like, he always has tears in his eyes. He just wants to be normal, and he literally has no shot. He has no control over it, and he has no chance at a normal life.
Well, you bring up a great point. If this happens in reality and a kid watches a Santa Claus shoot and slash their parents to death, there's no way that guy or girl is ever going to be normal, right? There's no amount of therapy that can, not the way they would have to move to a country where Christmas is not celebrated at all.
Yeah, wherever Zach Cherry's from.
Continue.
What? Well, we do a time jump then, right?
Yeah. And you would think, I know that you said that Mother Cherry or whatever her name was.
Oh, if they did another remake of this movie and it was Mother Cherry starring Zach Cherry.
So Mother Cherry, who's supposed to be the good one, it gets him a job at a toy store during Christmas.
Sister Margaret,
who is supposed to be the good one that you said when I said they were all evil, gets him a job at a toy store during Christmas.
No, okay, so you're wrong, Ronnie. It's not during Christmas. This is like summer months when she gets him hired. And the guy, who is it? What's his name? Mr. Sims, who he's Anthony Michael Hall's dad on Weird Science. I know him from Great Outdoors because he got shocked 66 times by lightning in the head. Played by Britt Leach. I took notes.
You did. Excellent. Not only is your background better, your sound's better, but you're overall better like YouTuber right now.
Well, thank you, Ronnie.
Dude.
I was right in the middle of a groove and you threw me off. So,
that's what I do.
But he's like, I don't want to hire one of your kids, one of your orphans there, Sister Margaret. I need a man to do this. Okay. I got some heavy boxes back here. I need a stock man, not a stock boy. Billy. And we get the shot of the feet all the way up, and Billy is jacked, looking good. He's like a cross between Stan Gable and Paul Walker. I mean, he's looking good, dude.
I guess he's been working there. You're right. He's been working there 2 months when Christmas starts. So he started in October.
Well, don't skip over the montage that we get.
See, the montage of him working and doing a good job, I thought was really happening. The scenes with him and that girl where it looked like they had a relationship, I thought that was really happening. That's all daydreams, Blake. He had zero relation with that girl. The imagined scene, the love scene with them two was fake.
I understand that because he died in that scene, Ronnie. That was a nightmare. But I thought the montage of him providing fanatical customer service. Hey, happy holidays, Brett. I thought the montage of him providing fanatical customer service was real.
Hey, look who's in the chat right here, Blake. Our first ever Patreon. That would be Brett giving us the happy holidays. Obviously, he doesn't celebrate Christmas. It's Merry Christmas, Brett, where we're from. And good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, we love Brett. He's been loyal since 2016?
Yes, he was like, I remember.
He's the OGs, man.
Remember when we got our first Patreon, because that's the only one we still have. He was like, if you ain't first, you're last. Boom. There you go.
He's the man. We love you, Brett. But yeah, Ronnie, I refuse to believe your theory. That montage is real. He is rocking and rolling. He's the best worker in that business. And you and I mentioned on our last stream, any movie that has a montage is a good movie. Whether it's Rocky IV, Revenge of the Nerds. We mentioned it on Nick Push's stream, I think. Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead.
Yes, Clean Up.
They all have montages, and they're all good movies. This is a good movie.
So here's the thing. It takes Christmas happening and Santa Claus not showing up for work, and they decide maybe Billy can be the Santa Claus. And instead of saying no, he agrees. And it takes 30 minutes before he finally becomes a complete psycho. Like
Well,
the scene with him and that little girl is like creepy beyond imagination because he's sitting there going, be still, little girl.
what's wrong with you?
Don't you know what Santa does if you're naughty? And I'm sitting there going, what parent is sitting here letting this dude talk to their kid like that? And all the parents are like, oh, he's so good with the kids. Look.
Well, you talk about he could have just said no, and you're right. He could have said no, but Dollar Store Joe Pesci was giving him the business about, you got to stop, doing this and doing that, or I'm going to tell the boss on you and this and that. And right as he's saying that, the boss comes in. It's like, Billy, I need a favor for you. Can you be Santa Claus? And he's like, yeah. So he puts the suit on.
They introduced this jerk character out of nowhere that's like his supervisor, and I'm sitting here going, okay, I know he's supposed to be a stock boy, but if you're working at a toy store in 1984, you got to figure this is the hierarchy of working in a toy store. You got a couple of cashiers, probably one cashier, one stock guy, and an owner. Who is this guy that's playing like middle management that's all over this guy, all over Billy?
His name is Andy.
So Andy is there just to be the jerk and just to be the first person that gets killed.
Well, no, he also wants to be the second person to attempt sexual assault in this Christmas movie.
As soon as this Christmas party's over, the Christmas day is over. They lock the door and scream, thank God, and start getting drunk. And when I'm drunk, I mean like fall out drunk. And Billy's walking around with the Santa suit on. At this point, he is 97% insane. And it takes watching the girl he has a crush on go to the back with Andy to completely push him over the edge. In the back, Andy is pushing himself onto this girl. I'm sure Blake knows her name, committing assault.
Pamela.
Billy walks in, ties Christmas lights around his neck, and does the one-handed Michael Myers and strangles him out. And in true 80s fashion, she is mad at Billy for killing the guy that was trying to sexually assault her.
Punish.
And then he, like he was trying to take over one of the planes on 9/11, grabs a box cutter and kills her with that. So there's your first two kills, and Billy's gone at this point. For the rest of the movie, it's punish and it's naughty is all that he says. He kills the store owner with a hammer like Michael Myers in Halloween 2. He takes a bow and arrow and kills the other chick. I told you before the show started, this movie has multiple ties to Halloween movies. Okay? And
Let's hear it.
Let's go ahead and talk about two of them right now. We'll talk about one of them right now. We'll wait and go one at a time. So the chick that he kills with the bow and arrow,
Miss Randall,
she's in Halloween. What happened? She's in Halloween.
Screensaver.
She's in Halloween 4. She's one of the ones at the beginning that are transferring Myers, and she's got the famous line, oh, so the state owns him. That's great. Another one's coming up pretty soon. But after Billy kills everybody in this toy store, you would think he would head back to the orphanage because the main villain in this movie is Mother Superior. So he's finally crazy. Let's go get Mother Superior. No, he decides to wander around the town. So the rest of the movie is like, this is like where the movie's direction ended for a little while.
Yeah, it took the wrong path. It did.
So, okay, Brett says, I remember when this movie came out, people were losing their stuff, which made me want to see it even more. We talked about that earlier, Brett. It was in the theaters for 1 week. Blake said it was on pace to outdo Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know how true that is, but the first kill, okay, we've talked about this in a lot of other shows, Blake. We think the creepiest thing is when somebody's driving along the road, like in The Fog, for instance. Tom Atkins is driving down the road, and then all of a sudden, boom, you see somebody out of nowhere on the side of the road when the headlights catch them. So you get this multiple times in this movie. One is when the killer Santa's on the side of the road that kills his family. The next time it happens is when the cops are all on the lookout for Santa, and you can see Santa diving off the road into the ditch, and somehow the cops don't see him. But his next stop is a random place where two people are getting it, and it turns out to be Linnea Quigley, whose only acting ability apparently is to get naked, and she's babysitting. And
hey, she joins the 3 movie club for us, Ronnie.
I knew you were going to say that.
Back in October, we reviewed Night of the Demons and we did Return of the Living Dead. So with this one, she becomes part of the 3 movie club.
And you posed a really good question. How did Billy know anything was going on in this house?
So this is my thing, Ronnie. I thought it would have been interesting because we didn't mention that Billy as a kid is in the corner saying, I don't want to be naughty. I don't want to be bad. He's also saying that as
naughty tonight.
He's also saying that as an adult. I don't want to be naughty. I don't want to be punished. So I thought it would have been interesting if Billy only went after horrible people. So he walks in on Andy trying to sexually assault a coworker. He kills him, you know?
Yeah.
His boss could have been mean to him and then he killed them. That wasn't the case. But like he's just killing random people. And like you said, he goes to Denise's house. Say goodnight, Denise. And how does he know what's going on in that house? Like, how does he know? It's just a random act of violence. And it doesn't make sense why he kills them and doesn't kill the next house or whatever. But my question is, he goes in there and, they're getting after it. Is that Bart from Rad?
I don't think it's Bart from Rad. You want another Halloween connection?
Sure.
The guy that he kills, the guy that's with Linnea Quigley, her boyfriend, plays the Howard Stern wannabe in Halloween 6.
Halloween 6.
Yeah, he's the guy that's got the trench coat on. They get, Michael Myers.
So it's not Bart Taylor from Rad Racing?
No, I don't think Bart Taylor ever made another movie. I mean, once you've done Rad, there you go.
There's no point, right?
There you go. Here we go. We got a question from Nick Push. You guys go check out his latest video. He's got a great channel. What about Nick Push? Let's hijack the show for a second.
What's his question?
Nick Push. Hold on about the question. Hold on with that. Nick Push is doing the whole be a subscription service now. He wants people to subscribe and join his channel. I wonder let's take a guess. What is the fee? Do you think he's got tiered fees?
I think he should. Yeah.
Okay, what is the most that you are willing to pay to follow Nick Push's content?
$1.99.
Okay, so you think the top tier should be $1.99?
No, I don't. Yeah, $1.99.
Okay, so
I would do it.
So you're just doing one.
No, I mean, Nick, I'm not doing it, but I would if that makes sense.
Okay, so you think you should just put a flat fee, $1.99, not multiple tiers? I think that's a good move. Like ours is $1 because I know.
So explain it to me. It's not a Patreon; it's a subscription service.
It's the YouTube version of Patreon. It just keeps the content creators here in one area instead of having Patreon and all that. You can just put subscription service here, give them a link. It skips the middleman.
I got you.
Wait for Google to make more money. So you're thinking $1.99 is the top tier.
$1.99. I should get to pick, a couple of topics that Nick does. I should get to interact with Nick. We should get to FaceTime during the holidays. There should be multiple advantages to being a $1.99 subscriber to his channel.
Yeah, well, you got to figure he's got nothing going on. So on the way to the casino, he could definitely send you a voicemail or one of those cameos. Hey guys, thanks for $1.99. Headed to spend it right now at the nickel slots or something like that. Anyway, he's got a question down here. If anybody's listening to this later on, go check out and be a subscriber to Nick Push. Great guy, great channel. Is the title of this movie the best horror play on a Christmas phrase adaptation? Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, are there any other like horror?
Yeah. In Ernest Saves Christmas, there was Christmas Sleigh.
There you go. That is great.
There was a movie made before this one, Ronnie, called Silent Night, Bloody Night. That's not very well known.
That might be better.
That does sound a little bit better. What's the one with Goldberg?
Santa's Sleigh. Is that it?
Is it Santa's Sleigh? Did they steal that from Ernest?
I don't know. It's something like that. Hey, check this out. One tier, and it's $1.99. You were spot on, Blake. That's why you're the best.
Gosh, now I got to do it. Now I got to be a man of my word and give him my paycheck.
So, Silent Night, Bloody Night is good. Black Christmas is not a.
Nah, Santa with Muscles is not.
No.
Christmas Evil is not.
Christmas Evil's great.
What the new movie that just came out? What's the new one? Violent Night. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but it's not a horror movie.
It's not.
No, everybody got surprised. They get in there and it's an action movie.
Oh,
so
it's probably Die Hard, Nick.
So you're absolutely right. I needed a town that dreaded sundown moment here. I needed Billy to be looking in windows and go, "Hey, them two are getting after it. He's cutting her."
They're not married.
No, and then bust through the window. And also they did like the reverse 180. They did the 180 here, and what usually happens in horror movies, usually the guy goes and checks on something and gets killed first. In this one, Linnea Quigley goes downstairs with no clothes on, and like he busts through the door.
She opens the door topless, Ronnie. Who's out there? Cat, is that you? There could have been carolers. Could have been Christmas carolers out there. It could have been kids. Could have been. And also, I had a question. I just randomly assumed that was her little sister upstairs asleep, but it's not, is it? She's the babysitter, right?
Like a 40-year-old babysitter. Here's a random question. What's the deal with like Jerry Seinfeld? What's the deal with carolers? I mean, what's the point in that? You're going around singing to people. Have you ever seen people like...
You're trying to spread Christmas cheer, Ronnie.
Yeah, but if people show up in your yard singing, you're like, well, Jesus, here we go. I mean, I got to go out here. I got to leave the living room to go out here and act like I'm happy people are bothering me. Oh, thank you. Jingle bells.
You are a Scrooge.
Well, no, it's not that. It's just...
We're 9 days out and you're a Scrooge.
Why would you bother people? People just want to be left alone. Like if somebody enjoys carolers, they belong in the orphanage or the Utah mental health facility where that guy's sitting there staring. What did his grandpa do to get put in the mental facility? He had to have done something for them to put him in a psycho home. He had to have done something. Did he kill his grandma? Did he
No, he'd have been in jail for that.
What did he do? I want to know more about what did the grandpa do? I mean, this is a movie about mental health. The grandpa's crazy and his grandkids are crazy. I
think a DeLorean crashed in his barn.
My pines.
That makes sense, right?
So the best kill of the movie in most people's eyes is Billy picking up Linnea Quigley and piercing her on the deer head that's on the wall.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy. That's a pretty crazy death for 1984.
And the MPAA cut this movie down tremendously. Tremendously from the
Brutal Bob.
That's Harper's burner account.
Is it really?
He don't think anybody knows it. That's his burner account.
We love you, Tim. Why do you have a burner account? What are you doing?
You know what he's doing. He's going through talking nonsense on people's pages.
No.
Where was I at? Oh, yeah. So it's like a 180. The chick gets killed first, and the guy is left to be stalked. And like this, he actually gets the heat on Billy for a second before Billy throws him out of the Royal Rumble and kills him.
Yeah, I mean, he has a Lloyd Christmas landing outside. But one thing I liked about it, Ronnie, is as many movies as we've seen where somebody gets thrown out of a window, this is the only time glass actually went in his belly, you know? Did you notice that when he was laying on the ground?
It was a really cool scene. The next part of the movie.
Didn't he pick up the phone? Didn't he knock Billy down and pick up the phone? He's like, operator, give me the police.
Yes, like he knocks him down and I can't. I'm not going to put that comment up there. Anyway, he tries to make the call. He tries to make the call, but then he gets thrown out the window. Then the police are riding in the car, and you get word that a crazy Santa Claus is on the loose because Mother Teresa shows up at the toy store and sees everybody dead. The next part of the movie, I just got to ask you what's going on. The cops roll up on a guy in a Santa suit going through the window of a house.
Yeah.
They kick the front door in, and they run up the stairs.
They don't say anything.
No, they run up the stairs. They kick the door in of the room that he went through, and there is a guy standing over the bed. And when they kick through the door, the girl wakes up and goes, "Daddy!" And pretty much the cops ruin the Santa Claus thing for him. So my question is, what was his dad doing? What's the point of climbing up the side of the house to go in the daughter's room with the Santa Claus outfit if you don't want her to wake up? And why not just put the presents downstairs? What is he doing?
Yeah, I don't know, Ronnie. You're being super negative right now, and I don't like it. You do whatever you can to keep that magic alive for your kids. Like maybe he was going to wake her up as he was leaving the window, and he was going to be like, "Hey, my sleigh is parked on the roof, and I'm going out the window." And, it could be anything like that. Stop being so negative. He's trying to be a good dad.
So, real quick, the guy in the Santa suit, Don Shanks, a.k.a. Michael Myers from Halloween 5.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I think that's the last.
What if Michael Myers, instead of killing a mechanic, killed a guy in a Santa suit?
That's a great question. Now, this is a whole show. If Michael Myers hadn't killed a mechanic, what if he would have killed like a farmer and he's wearing like overalls?
That is fantastic. Or he killed a kid at prom.
He takes the tuxedo. I mean, how cool would the Michael Myers mask look with a tuxedo?
It would look really good. It really would look good.
What if he had killed a clown, like a carload of clowns that was going to some kind of party? Now he's wearing the clown outfit.
What is the most outrageous occupation that Michael Myers? Well,
he's wearing Zorro's mask. No, seriously, it should have been a clown, right? Like the original mask was going to be Emmett Kelly's mask in Halloween. So,
well, that's what he wore as a kid too.
Yeah, he should have been a clown. Halloween, Michael Myers should have been a clown. I mean, they pretty much lucked into the Michael Myers mask, the William Shatner, just like with anything. They lucked into something that becomes iconic. Originally, they wanted to be a clown mask, a freaking clown around Haddonfield. I mean, how ridiculous would it be with that clown getting shot out the window and laying there? If the horn honks as he hits. So my favorite kills of the movie. I know everybody likes the Linnea Quigley on the antler.
So the cops you mentioned, their cops are like eager to draw, yes, which plays a fact is a big factor later in the movie. So as soon as they see a Santa, like they're drawing down on it. And now all of a sudden it's daytime, Ronnie. It's morning time.
You're forgetting the favorite kill. You got two teenagers out in the woods sledding in the middle of the woods for some reason. And then all of a sudden,
Christmas Eve night.
Yes, Christmas Eve night, we're sledding. And two 40-year-olds show up to pick on them. And then the 40-year-olds run them off. And they're going to sled, which if they would have had like a case of beer with them, I can understand why they would want to do this.
Sure.
So it's I'll let you describe the scene. I'll let you describe the scene of what happens.
Well, I mean, it's nothing. The kid's going down the hill. All of a sudden, Billy pops out, naughty, and swings that axe and decapitates him. And then all of a sudden, this guy who is just so happy to be involved, it's just the biggest smile ever on Christmas Eve night, is watching his buddy come down, and then he realizes he don't have a head. Like, Petey don't even have a head. And he's like, oh, and then the head comes rolling down, and that's when he lets out the best scream ever, Ronnie. Can you hit that one more time for me, please?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see how you work this. How do you work streams?
Can you do an imitation of that scream for me?
No, I can't. Well, my daughter's asleep in the next room. I can't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Come on, man. You almost had me do it too.
It's so good. It is so good. There was so many clips of this movie that you've made me watch my whole life. I felt like I've seen it 100 times, but this is the first time I ever watched this movie. Like the scene with the grandpa, you put it in one of our shows not too long ago, talking about Christmas, and I've seen that guy screaming in the snow 100 times.
It's in our Back to the Future review where we talked about. I told you the other movie I remember this guy from.
That's right.
So, like you said, now it goes to daytime. So Billy's been out all night. He's heading back for the orphanage. They get word that a Santa Claus has been shot. Like this Quick Draw McGraw kills this Santa Claus in front of all the kids. So now all these kids.
You're not doing it justice. I'm not going to let you just do it like this. The entire orphanage is outside playing. Recess time, right? Santa Claus comes walking up from 100 yards away. Nick's the best. Nick's so topical. And all the kids have time to see Santa coming and get really excited. Let's go. All right, here he comes. And we, as a viewer, assume it's Billy until the two cops show up. And then you're like, that's not Billy. We know it's not going to be Billy. We can see this coming from a mile away. They get out of their car with kids all around Santa, by the way.
Yes.
Freeze, don't move. Santa keeps walking. They put 9 in his back and kill him in front of the kids. It was incredible.
All these kids are now ruined. Christmas,
every one of them.
Christmas is now ruined for everybody in this orphanage because of Mother Superior.
But this isn't even the worst thing that's going to happen to him today.
You later find out that Father Murphy or Father O'Brien, whatever his name is deaf and mute. Or as in the 80s, they called him deaf and dumb. So he couldn't hear the cops saying, stop, which begs the question, why did they let somebody that's deaf cross the road? And why was somebody that's deaf going to be Santa Claus? He can't hear what they're asking for.
I guess if you can't hear them asking for it, you don't have to get them anything.
I mean, isn't that like the saddest thing, though? Kids at an orphanage telling Santa Claus what they want, and he can't give them any of it? Like, I want some parents.
Well, I think the saddest thing is the kids being in the orphanage.
You think anybody ever asks for anything other than parents from Santa Claus if they're in an orphanage?
You know, the Santa is like, I hadn't heard that one before. Give me something else, kid. Like the guy who repeats the same joke over and over. Come on, kid, give me something new.
Billy shows up. Okay, by the way, here's our last Halloween tie-in.
Also, all you kids, once you're over like 6 years old, you're not getting adopted. I'm sorry. It ain't happening.
True. That's not true. Like Angelina Jolie, she adopted like 50 people that was like, no, you're right. They were like 2 and 3.
Yeah, and they end up giving them back.
Once they get personalities, nobody wants to adopt them.
Yeah.
Because they're tainted love.
Yeah, babies, you can make them adapt to you. You know, if you're it's like Problem Child. You know, one of mine and Nick Push's favorite movies of all time, Problem Child. You know, they wait till he's like 7 years old. That's such a good movie.
He's ruined.
Yeah.
So the cop that shoots the Santa Claus is the same cop that gets hit in the axe, naughty, by Billy when he shows up. That cop was also in Halloween 5. He plays the doctor at the very beginning of it that Loomis goes, no, she's trying to tell us something. And he's like, I see, you want this girl dead. So there's your Halloween tie.
Wow. I had no idea that.
Look, when you come to All the Good Names Are Taken live, you're going to get hit in the head with some
You're going to get some trivia. You're going to get word for word read from IMDb.
Exactly. So you said there's no way that we knew that it wasn't Billy because of the way he got killed. Well, Billy walks right through the front door of the orphanage and is about to kill Mother Superior, who for some reason is in a wheelchair. It's not explained why she's in a wheelchair. I don't know if in real life something happened to her and caused her to be in a wheelchair in the middle of the movie. I think that ended up on the cutting room floor, that maybe she had a spinal stroke or something, or maybe she was just so mean that her spine broke.
I think what it is, Ronnie, is she's supposed to be a really old, mean lady when he was 4 years old. Or I'm sorry, when he was 6 or 7 years old, and this is 10 years later. So I think that's how I interpret it. That's how we're supposed to look at it. Is this is a really old lady?
So out of nowhere, he's fixing and then that's what you want to see. You've invested 80 minutes of your life into this movie, and we all have a life. We don't want to waste it.
Who is she in Predator 2?
She was one of the ones in the room, probably having sex with the drug lords when the Predator busted in.
Hey, she's Van Damme's mom on Universal Soldier too.
Is she really?
Yeah.
I don't remember him having a mother. It must be the flashbacks.
No. At the end, remember he goes home to see his parents, and Dolph Lundgren shows up.
I don't remember that at all.
That's a really good movie. Me and Nick Push are going to review that here in a few weeks.
I can't wait. He's fixing to take an axe to Mother Superior, which is what everybody has been hoping for the entire
Punish.
Kill the worst person in this movie. And of course, he gets shot in the back 50 times.
Well, listen, Mother Superior is agging it on. And I hate this in movies. You do too. What does she do to kind of antagonize him? She says, Santa Claus is not real.
She says it to all the kids.
Santa's not real.
All the kids are scared because Santa Claus is coming in with an axe. She goes, shut up, children. Santa's not real.
And she says it over and over and over as he's walking closer to her.
I mean, this is a better movie if like he splits her in half like in UHF, Conan the Barbarian, and then he gets shot 7 times. I mean, it really is. He gets shot and he tells all the kids, you're safe now. Santa's dead. And then the movie goes on.
And Sister Margaret comes and holds his hand, and they have like an exorcist moment where they're just looking at each other. She's the only one that truly tried to help him.
Yeah,
and then it pans up to Brother Ricky, who says,
naughty.
Setting up a sequel. Such good writing, man.
There you go. Great movie. That's Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984.
The orphanage saw 2 Santas die in 1 hour.
Did Mother Superior whip all of the orphans after that to like fix them?
Well, yeah.
You think she's still whipping them even in the wheelchair? Like she roll up, make
punishment is absolute.
So is vodka. Blake, what are you rating 1 out of 10?
Such a bad joke. That is such a bad joke, Ronnie. Listen, if you haven't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, 1984,
don't spend $4 on Amazon Prime. If you got a VHS copy of it, you can make about $200.
Watch this movie. Give it a chance. This is a fun movie. It's got problems. There's certain scenes that look terrible. Looks like it's filmed with I don't even say it. One scene looks like really good, and then the next scene is super fuzzy. But it's got there's a lot of nudity in it. There's a holiday theme in it. And it's Killer Santa Claus. It's a really good movie. And here's the deal. I usually don't like movies where you sympathize with the villain. I like this movie. And you sympathize with Billy. Billy is a very sad character in this movie, Ronnie.
His life is ruined for no reason.
And he had no control over it. It's a very sad story.
And the moral of the story is if you have a choice between being killed by a crazy Santa with a gun and surviving and going to an orphanage, it's better just to let the crazy Santa with a gun kill you.
Don't stop for hitchhikers. He could,
that too.
All right, don't visit your grandparents.
Especially if they're in a mental facility.
If they never go to visit him, it never happens.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And these people are all normal. And Billy's just a sexy stud.
He really does look good.
Yeah.
Garbage Day.
Could you tell he's never acted before? Hey, that's what we'll do next Christmas. If we still have a show, we'll do Silent Night, Deadly Night 2.
Okay, you're on.
We'll go ahead and set the live stream date right now.
Ronnie, we ain't got any super chats yet, have we?
Let me check. No.
Huh. No new headset this year.
Blake, rate the movie. Let's get the hell out of here.
This is a 6 out of 10 for me. This is really fun holiday movie. I love old school slasher movies. I love cheesy movies. This 6.5 out of 10. This was really fun. And if you hadn't seen it, go check it out. If it's been a while since you've seen it, go check it out. Get Ronnie's Amazon Prime account. You can watch it. He rented it. We rented it twice.
Twice it.
We rented it twice, and yeah, it was fun, man. It had some really good kills for 1984 too. Like some underrated, some really underrated death scenes in it.
And stuff, and the good stuff we didn't even get to see. So I mean,
really,
yeah, I mean it was heavily cut by the MPAA. What I mean, I can't believe they left the glass and the stomach part in there. And you're talking about the fuzzy parts, being in and out. That's just from the movie being cut. I mean, that's what it is. Everything you just said is absolutely right. If you love horror movies, you're going to love Silent Night, Deadly Night. It's a really good movie. It's simple. It's not asking you to think too much. You know who the bad people are. And if you're like us, you make up stories inside of it. Good kills. A guy running around with Santa Claus. I don't understand why we don't have more movies about people dressed as Santa Claus terrorizing small towns. It should happen. Every year there should be a new movie about Santa Claus killing people.
I did read that the director had not seen a lot of slasher movies, and that's why we get like this unique perspective, of the way this story's told. Usually you find out about the killer at the end, and in this one, like pretty much everything's from Billy's point of view.
Yeah, you know who's doing it. It ain't
and
like
there's
herring.
Yeah, there's no final girl or anything like that, So it's different, but it's different in a good way. And we didn't even talk about Billy cutting the head off a snowman with his axe. That was really fun. And that's actually part of the kill count on IMDb.
Is it really a
kill? The snowman's on there.
I'm gonna go like 5.8. 5.8, and here's the simple fact. If I go back and look at some of my reviews of horror movies, I'm pretty sure I've given some really good movies like 7s. And I don't want to throw Silent Night, Deadly Night into the realm of movies that are way better than it. It's fun for a horror movie. It's a really good movie. I would watch this movie once a year, possibly twice a year. But, come on. It's Silent Night, Deadly Night, 5.7. Great movie. Like Blake said, go out of your way to try to watch this movie if you're a horror fan. It's really good. Now, part 2 and part 3, live and in color. Look at that. I hope you guys hung around for that.
What happened?
I'll edit that out. Don't worry about it. Anyway.
Dropped everything.
Part two is tough because it's like 45 to 50 minutes of just flashbacks. It's like you're watching the first movie. It's bad. Like this is like all-time Oscar winner compared to that. Anyway.
Hey, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Nothing. So if you're not following us already, hit us up on Twitter, Instagram. We got a Patreon for $1 if you guys want to join that. First live stream in the books, Blake. First live stream in the books.
Yeah. It wasn't nearly as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Well, I mean, we only had like one hang up on the stuff. So there you go. Anything before we go?
What's next for us?
Well, we did have a Scrooged review planned. Are we going to? We'll have to get that out before Christmas is over. I mean, here's the thing, though. I don't want to do a live Scrooge review.
I don't either.
I don't know how often we'll do this live stuff. I mean, just because
once a month.
Well, I mean, this was pretty fun to do it. I think for sure we need to start working some more live stuff in. Like I would love to do. We've got a couple of things coming up to answer your question. We got a Scrooge review. We did have a Black Christmas review in the works, but this took the place of Black Christmas because everybody's doing Black Christmas, and we'll just let the people that are better than us handle that. Maybe next year we'll handle Black Christmas. But we also have a No More Tears coming where we're going to tier the YouTube channels that we watch.
Wait a minute. What do you mean?
I mean, we're going to have 4 to 5 categories. We're going to have all the YouTube channels or personalities that me and you personally watch, and we're going to rank them into 4 or 5 categories that we see fit.
So while everyone out there is ranking movies and Mask and stuff like that, we're actually going to rank the people doing that.
Yes.
I love it.
Rank the channel, their content, what we think they are as a human being,
Oh
There's a lot-
yeah.
There's a lot of creeps out there. But that'll wrap it up. Blake, great show. You are the talent.
Great
Remember
show.
that? Great show. You are the talent. And for everybody else out there that joined us, thank you. And we'll see you guys next time.
So long, everybody. Love you.